Alright guys, welcome to This Week in Wrestling, covering everything that's gone on over the course of this past week, a week that ended last night with the WWE Network special Roadblock. So with a name like Roadblock, you'd expect it to really impact the road to WrestleMania, but as things turned out, it really wasn't all that impactful at all. The majority of the matches were obviously pretty predictable, and we didn't see any titles change hands, which was to be expected considering this was pretty much just a televised live event, but nonetheless the matches themselves were really good, and we did see some controversy in the main event, as Dean Ambrose pinned Triple H to win the WWE Championship, only for the referee to call off the pinfall due to Ambrose's feet being under the bottom rope. From there, the match continued and Ambrose eventually ate a pedigree to see Triple H retain the championship, but the interesting thing here is that the previous 3 count on Triple H does give the WWE the opportunity to maybe switch up the WrestleMania main event and include Ambrose if they decide to go down that route. If they do decide to switch things up, then obviously that leaves Brock Lesnar free, but it's possible that he could still revert to the original plans of facing Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania after Bray ducked out the scheduled match last night and replaced himself with Luke Harper. So chances are things will stay the same, but the WWE now have the chance to use this angle to change things up if they decide not to go with the planned Triple H and Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania. Speaking of this week's question asks, should WWE change the main event to include Ambrose, or do you think it should stick to Triple H and Roman Reigns? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Staying with WrestleMania, and it was announced this week that WrestleMania 33 will take place in Florida, but some of the big news coming out of the announcement actually came from John Cena, who appeared at the panel and revealed that he will not recover in time for WrestleMania this year, despite working as hard as he could, saying this will be the first WrestleMania for more than a decade and a half that he won't actually have a match, but he will still be watching in attendance. Switching from Cena to Mr. WrestleMania himself, Shawn Michaels, there's been a lot of rumours over the last few months that WWE have wanted to get Shawn back on TV, and this week on Ric Flair's Woo Nation podcast, Rick revealed that there were plans to have Michaels appear at the Royal Rumble this year, but they never came to fruition. Going forward though, the Wrestling Observer reporting that WWE officials still plan to try and get Michaels involved in some shape or form at WrestleMania, having said to have pitched ideas to have him as a special guest referee for Triple H's match with Roman Reigns, further stacking the odds against Reigns, or to have him be part of a run-in with a group of legends for a yet-to-be-determined match. Switching focus from the legends of WWE to the future of the WWE, it was revealed that Seth Rollins is getting closer to a WWE return after resuming in-ring training. According to sources, Rollins is working out in the ring at his Black and Brave Wrestling Academy in Illinois, and he's making sure to be careful with his knee, using a knee brace and also icing it up after each session just to be on the safe side. As for when he'll return, it's still not known, but the injury took place in November, and it was said to keep him out between 6 and 9 months, so if that prognosis is correct, then the earliest we could see him return would likely be May. Speaking of another superstar who'll miss WrestleMania this year, Titus O'Neal this week spoke about the situation with Vince and the suspension from WWE, stating, "I always believe in all things there's always positives in it. I made a mistake at an inopportune time. Regardless if it was too harsh or overreacting or whatever people have deemed it, it all stems from my mistake. Whether I agree with it or not, I am owning it. I'm doing what I'd normally do in any other situation." He then followed up that by reaffirming that he would not be quitting the WWE after he was asked about Batista's comments, who said that he should quit and go make money elsewhere. Instead, Titus said, "I can go and coach, I can do a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, I've never quit on anything in my entire life." So going from Titus's positive attitude to something on the other end of the scale, it was revealed this week that Mr. Anderson, formerly Mr. Kennedy in WWE, was fired from TNA after he failed a drug test following a match with Eric Young on January 19th. According to reports, Anderson's behaviour seemed odd during the day, and when it came to the match, he looked so bad that they had to end the match early, with Eric Young said to be furious and yelling at management for even allowing Anderson to be out there, which led to them then forcing him to take the drugs test and releasing him when it was found to be positive. Finally, let's talk John Morrison, as he had some interesting comments in an interview with The World According to Wrestling this week. Firstly, Morrison was asked if there was any superstars in WWE that he'd like to face off against, replying, "Well, I've fought most of them. Everyone knows someday I'm going to beat the crap out of Seth Rollins. That would be awesome. I'd love to beat the crap out of him. I'd love to just have a great match with Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns, I'd love to wrestle him in like 10 years if he's still wrestling, because by then, hopefully he'd figure out how to work." Following that burn, Morrison also shed some light on his name change from Johnny Nitro to John Morrison, revealing that originally he was going to be Johnny Blaze, but after announcing it on TV, WWE found out Marvel owned the rights to it. Then he was given the name Johnny Spade, which he didn't like, before he then decided on Johnny Nitro, a name that he says he wished he'd stuck with, but that Vince didn't like because it reminded him of WCW, which led to the decision to change his name to John Morrison. So there you go, that pretty much brings us to the end of this week in wrestling, but I hope you've all enjoyed it, and if you did, a like is greatly appreciated. I hope you've all had a great weekend, but until next time, I'll catch you later.